Our ride around the Lowcountry will be looking vastly different in the next several years when the highly traveled Wando and Don Holt bridges get a huge makeover. Here to share more about some exciting additions is Katie Zimmerman, Executive Director of Charleston Moves. Good to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
We were just commiserating and I guess, reflecting on the changes that we've seen the Lowcountry undergo in terms of the Ravenel Bridge, for instance.
Right.
So are we going to see that big of a change, you think, come Don Holt and then some?
I think so. It's sort of hard to wrap your head around.
It truly is.
And there's not a lot of details yet from SCDOT. So, but certainly, anytime you're widening a highway or widening a bridge, that has an impact aesthetically, and it will likely bring more cars. Right.
Just life until it actually opens up and is fully usable.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but with the plans, you've had a lot of impact on what those plans are potentially going to look like. Yep. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
For showing some muscle here. And this is all to benefit the cyclists. The walkers.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
So tell us a bit more about this.
Yeah, so we have been involving ourselves with the sort of planning effort for SCDOT has proposed widening existing I-526, the entirety of it. Mm-hmm. And so we've been participating in those planning meetings, stakeholder sessions, submitting comments, encouraging all of our advocates to submit their comments to make sure that the design for this entire congestion improvement does also include what's called splitting the mode share. Mm-hmm. So providing for bicycle, pedestrian, and transit use.
Yeah.
So
we see it on the Ravenel Bridge.
That's
we see
exactly
people
right.
using it every single day.
Yep. It's actually not wide enough, that bike ped lane, for its popularity. So that was an important lesson learned at the time. Getting it incorporated in the plans was a big campaign. So exciting, and now we know, for every other bridge we got to do better.
Of course. And not to get too tangential on this one, but the bike lane on the Ravenel is actually wide enough for a full car, though, to somehow manage to get onto that bike lane. If you didn't see the video, you got to check it out.
Right.
It's crazy. But like you say, it's true. There's a lot of people that travel it. So you anticipate that to be on the Wando and the Don Holt as well?
I think so, and the Westmoreland, which is the one connecting West Ashley and North Charleston. Mm-hmm. So that one is going to be widened and will include a separated bicycle and pedestrian path, and then DOT will be replacing the Don Holt and the Wando and including that same bicycle and pedestrian pathway separated.
And you've got experience in this space. You've had impact in other projects as well. Maybe you can shed a little bit of light on what you've done in the past and how that could be reflected in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's we know, it's so much easier to plan for the future and to accommodate all these different modes when you're on the front end of the project, rather than what we've had to go through, which is advocating to either retrofit bridges, retrofit roadways, or even in the case of the Ashley River Bridge and what we're advocating for with the North Bridge, the end result has to be a separate bike ped bridge because that is the most feasible engineering solution.
Sure.
So many campaigns, so much work put in by agencies, elected officials, us at Charleston Moves, citizens, everybody engaging, lots of angst and hard work and sometimes literal blood, sweat, and tears to retrofit these spaces, to have the design incorporate these things on the front end for 526 is wonderful.
Yeah, and your efforts have never been futile either, because it has gone into great use.
That's right. It's kind of the if you build it, they will come situation.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's absolutely true. So being on the front end must feel a little bit different.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sure it must feel good, right?
Yeah, it's wonderful, and SCDOT deserves a lot of credit for. I think if this had been decades ago, our request probably would have been dismissed.
Sure.
But thankfully, we have the Ravenel Bridge to point to and that success. Yeah. And SCDOT they're really being progressive in their thoughtfulness and their planning for the future, which is wonderful.
You were reading my mind. Progressive was the word I was looking for, because it's true. You see more people utilizing these spaces, and you've got so many more people moving to the area, and that's only going to increase the desire as well.
That's right. Yep.
We might even see a bridge run one of these days.
I mean, I wouldn't count it out. Certainly,
sure.
There was a little bit of pushback when DOT. We worked with DOT to restripe the Isle of Palms connector, and a lot of folks said, well, who's going to actually bike? And it's so long, it's so hot, and it's getting a lot of use as well with that restriping. So,
well, there you go. Katie Zimmerman, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're back after this.